This is my student case study for Grand Valley State University for the classroom management course taken in the fall of 2019. This is presented by me, Reed Murphy. I observed student A. Student A is a white 16-year-old male who is a sophomore in freshman level biology. He is diagnosed with ADHD. He lives with both parents, and his mother is very supportive. He has fidgets to help him focus, and he also, at times, plays on his phone and computer. He is a great reader and great at math. I picked student A for my case study because you can easily pick out his lack of participation in coursework. It's also easy to see how he gets distracted in the classroom and distracts others. So to the left, this is a little short version of his IEP, but to the right, just highlights the main points. He is a squirrely student. Like I said, he was diagnosed with ADHD. He's disorganized, so he loses track of assignments and doesn't always turn them in. He needs to have a relationship with the teacher in order to fully engage in the class because he wants to have that relationship and wants to make you proud. He has toys to help him focus. He does get distracted by his phone. When it comes to test taking and stuff like that, he's not very good with handwritten material, so he has someone scribe for him. He has tests read aloud. He has modified assignments. And the main important takeaway here is he does not get extended time on assignments. So within the classroom, it's a biology classroom, so there's a strong sense of community. The bottom right picture is the classroom norm, so it's really just talking about respect, showing up on time, and doing your best. Like I said, it's a biology class, so you're looking at answering questions and to observe phenomena. So there's a ton of collaboration, ton of group discussion, and daily questions every single day that help students focus their thoughts onto what that lesson for the day is going to be. Student A in this environment, he sits in the front right of the class, as you can see by that green arrow. He doesn't really participate verbally or, like I said, in assignments. He gets distracted by his computer, phone, or his fidgets at times, but he does seem to participate when there are labs and simulations that are more upbeat, more higher paced labs. He really likes to get engaged and involved with his groups. The first strategy for student A was guided notes or sentence starters. So what I've seen was student A wasn't starting or completing coursework, and during instruction time he was either playing on his phone, computer, fidgeting with his toy. He didn't ever get work out. There were constant redirections to help him focus on the task at hand, which was completing an assignment or taking notes together. This often just led to him taking his attention away from his phone and then just to talking to other classmates and being distracted and distracting others. Like I said, he was engaged in group collaborations when they were in a lab or simulation. So my first strategy was to modify assignments by giving clear directions and providing sentence starters to help student A not become overwhelmed by starting an assignment. My goal here was just to really have him not see a blank worksheet and get overwhelmed and toss to the side and go back to being distracted. By giving him sentence starters that could hopefully help him focus on, I can do this first part. Here's my little helpful sentence starter to get me going. Another helpful sentence starter to get me going to actually complete coursework. So the analysis of student A, the first strategy, he was able to complete more assignments and able to get work down. He still had trouble completing assignments fully. He did get more partial credit than he was in the past. He still wasn't verbally participating. He was just actively taking notes, which was a good start, though. Still was distracted by his phone and computer at times. He still was in force of habit pulling out his computer or phone or something distracting when the class was a little bit slower paced. So overall, this strategy was partially effective since he did not complete more assignments, but he was able to complete partial coursework. Even though he partially completed coursework, his disorganization made it for no assignments to be turned in for a grade. Like I said, he was very disorganized. He couldn't ever get work turned in, so he was getting work done, but not turning it in to receive a grade. and student A was continuing to be distracted by his computer fidgets or what have you. So our second strategy was, let's remove the distraction. Let's take away the Chromebook in class. In biology class, we really don't use our Chromebooks other than completing the question of the day, which can be typed out on a Google Doc. It got to be to the point where student A would just have his Chromebook out from the start of the class, and that would continue well past QOD was done and the class moved on to another task. So, like I said, we're going to remove the computer. We're going to just remove the distraction. When he was in the class with his computer, he was obviously disconnected from what was going on in the classroom. During instruction, he has his computer out and fails to complete question of the day, which was the big part of this strategy of taking away the Chromebook. He was unable to switch tasks, even though we were taking away the Chromebook to complete question of the day, which we do every day. He is able to do it on paper. I was also implementing this at the same time of the strategy one, where I would give him the paper version of QOD with sentence starters already on them. First day of no Chromebook didn't go so well. He had a referral written up to the office. My CT took away or asked politely for student A to turn in his Chromebook to the front of the class. He did not like that. It became a verbal altercation where he wanted to be sent to the office to talk to somebody, and the student A wasn't welcomed back until he apologized to the teacher, and he still wasn't happy about having his Chromebook taken away. He said, "Can I at least have it in my backpack and not have it out?" And so they agreed to that. So the analysis of the second strategy, initially, like I said, he wasn't happy about his device being taken away. So he could do it on paper. Student A completed a few QODs on paper, but when it was not done, student A would come and distract others, or redirections to QOD would result in head down. He just wouldn't participate. So the strategy wasn't super effective. Student A wasn't happy getting his device taken away, which led to a decreased participation. After giving student A many redirects, he would complete QOD sometimes, not all the time, but the sentence starters really seemed to help him focus more and get work down. If you just left him to copy down QOD from the front board, he usually wouldn't do it. So the QOD on paper with sentence starters was helpful in a way to where he was able to get those 2 points, which is what QOD is worth every day, compared to before, which he wasn't even completing on his Chromebook. So the overall conclusions: student A, he doesn't complete coursework really, but he actually is very bright. He's able to pass tests with actually higher percentages, or right around the class average. Even though he doesn't turn in work, he does well in the test. Student A really participates well in hands-on, fast-moving pace classes, like I said, with labs and simulations. He loves to be involved and be active. He is very good with technology, but that seems to be his downfall at times, where that technology distracts him from what's going on in front of him in the classroom. So my recommendations for really with any student with ADHD are students need to be seated closer to the teacher. Like I said, he sat in the front right of the classroom, and in the picture on the right side of the screen, I would move seats over to the left where the teacher desk is, so he is right there, and you can easily redirect a student and help them stay on task. Another recommendation is to implement or have as many lessons that are upbeat, hands-on activities, or even giving him a biology app game on his phone or something to pique his interest with the use of technology and relate it to coursework. But anything that's faster moving and I think would really help focus any student really with ADHD. Another recommendation is really for just anyone with ADHD that usually gets disorganized because they usually have a bunch of thoughts going on, and what I've seen is a lot of them misplace course material. So by having a binder that stays within the classroom at all times or brought to maybe like a homeroom teacher, just to really make sure that coursework and everything stays in one location and wouldn't be lost where the student has to restart a whole thing, and that just prevents discouragement of that. And overall, I really like this case study I had to do. This is really important when you become a teacher. You have to focus on not what you're doing, or only what you're doing with the lesson, but also with your students that are sitting out in front of you, because it's very important to observe them and their habits and behaviors, because these habits or behaviors can be documented and might come up in being so helpful when creating an IEP for a student. So overall, this is really good to not only teach a lesson at the same time, but to also observe students. I really like it.